This is my master analytics prompt, and this prompt, along with ChatGPT and one really awesome plugin, is the reason why I am no longer failing on YouTube. Hey there, it is I versus AI. I have failed a lot on YouTube and for many years. The reason why is that I was scared of my analytics. I'm not a numbers person, numbers scare me, and also I'm emotional. So I would look at the numbers, and if they weren't going well, I would just feel defeated and give up. But this prompt has changed everything for me. And I now feel like I can get a better handle on my analytics, which really are nothing more than a numerical representation of what you, the viewer, is doing and how you're enjoying my content or not, and how I can improve it. Stick around to the end of the video and I will show you how to use this prompt to find out something very specific if people are not watching your videos all the way through and you have a low average view duration. This prompt will show you when people are leaving your video, what exactly you were saying at the time that they left, and finally, how to see how your video is doing in comparison to similar videos. And here's something positive. It may not be as bad as you think. Though this prompt looks complicated and it's very long, it's got a lot of context and detail in it to give you the best outcome. But it is not as difficult as it looks. All of my prompts are plug and play. In this case, in order to start, you're just going to need to add your question here and some context about your channel. As always, I will leave a ChatGPT link to this prompt, so you'll be able to install it right into your version of ChatGPT. We're going to be using the Wolfram plugin along with this prompt. The Wolfram plugin can do so much. And in fact, I've gathered several different examples of cool things that you can do with the Wolfram plugin that you may not have known you could. Wolfram, what would a stargazing New Yorker expect to see when they look at the sky at 10 p.m. on June 17th, 1920? A stargazing New Yorker looking at the sky at 10 p.m. on June 17th, 1920 will see the following star chart. Wolfram, what's the Scrabble score for the word xylophone? The Scrabble score for the word xylophone is 24. The Master Analytics prompt comes in two parts. The first part you're going to enter in here with your question, and it ends here with the words, then move to step 2. I've been curious to know how people who are watching I versus AI are interacting with the content based upon what device they're using, how they're using it when they're on mobile versus computer versus tablet or television. So I'm going to enter that question in. Here's a little tip on the question. I have baked some examples into the prompt for you to have a good idea on how to phrase your question. This is both for your benefit and for the benefit of ChatGPT to give it more context, because the prompt instructs ChatGPT to refine your question. That means you don't have to figure out the best way to ask the question. Just ask whatever you want to know, and ChatGPT will refine that into a way that will give you the best response when it looks at your data. How do viewers interact with my videos based on what device they are using? How can I make my content better for different viewers on different devices? I have my information here on my channel, I versus AI, a channel about AI prompts and plugins. This channel is my quest to learn all things prompting for ChatGPT and other large language models, and then share what I learn with my audience. Now that I've got those two fields filled in, I'm going to send the message and see what we get back. Wolfram, compare Pinterest.com versus Instagram.com. Here is a comparison of Pinterest.com and Instagram.com based on web hosting information and web statistics. Wolfram, who is the strongest Pokemon? The strongest Pokemon, based on total stats, is Mega Rayquaza with a total stat of 780. The first thing that GPT does is rephrase our question. What are the viewing patterns and engagement levels of my audience across different device types? And how can I optimize my content based on these insights? I'm always impressed when running this prompt because ChatGPT really does a good job at rephrasing it so that we get the best outcome. So here is a cool thing about this prompt. ChatGPT needs data to analyze, and the prompt will tell you exactly how to give it that data. Here it says view by device type. This will allow us to see how viewer interaction varies by the device they are using. Let's first talk about this. Here in the prompt, you can see view by and all of this information. You don't need to change this information. It's very specific to YouTube Analytics. Here's a fun thing though. I could do this prompt with Twitter as well too. And if you'd like to see me do that in another video, I can do that. Unfortunately, I haven't got a lot of data on Twitter. I just started out at I versus AI. So if you're curious, give me a follow so I can build up some data and show you how you can change this prompt for your website analytics, for social media analytics. It can work for any type of analytics, so let me know and I can do that for you. This view by section corresponds to a certain place in your YouTube analytics. I'm going to head over to my analytics and show you what I mean. This is my analytics dashboard for I versus AI, but you're going to need to get specific data to give ChatGPT. And to do that, you're going to need to go to advanced mode. When you click into advanced mode, you'll see here at the top, content, traffic source, geography, etc. Going all the way over to here and more. And you'll see all of these options. These are different ways in which you can view your data. You can see information based upon the content type. This channel is very young. It only has 3 videos. Over here by traffic source, it will show you where people are clicking and finding your content on YouTube or outside of the platform. If any line here is blue, it indicates that you can click in for more information. For example, with browse features, you can click in and see that browse, according to YouTube, means subscriptions, the watch later, watch history, and the home page. And you can see that a lot of people are getting recommended my content on their home feed, which is good. You can go back here using traffic source to go back to your original page. This is what view by means. ChatGPT will suggest any one of these or here, depending on the question you've asked. So you'll be able to give ChatGPT the exact data it needs to give you the best analysis to answer your question. But there's a second part. This available columns section correlates to this section here in the prompt, which is this section here in the table. These are metrics, and you can add them. You can also hide them. Clicking on this little button here, you can hide the metric. We're going to keep these metrics because ChatGPT is asking us to add additional columns. The prompt includes all of these metrics here. ChatGPT is asking you to add some of these metrics. If it is grayed out, that indicates the table already includes it. If it has a line through it, that indicates that there's no available data. Either the channel doesn't have that data yet, or up here, you may have chosen a time frame, like lifetime, for example, where there's just no data for that, or there's too much data, or there's some specific reason why it won't show up. Sometimes if it doesn't show up, there'll be a little exclamation point here, and clicking on it will tell you exactly why it doesn't show up. I have found that 90 days is a good time frame to give ChatGPT. It means that you don't give it so much information that you overload the context window. Going back to the prompt, ChatGPT has suggested that we add watch time, views, average view duration. We already have those. Average percentage views, unique viewers, interactions, likes, dislikes, shares, and comments. So let's go ahead and add all of those as well. Another note, here ChatGPT is asking for comments added, and you can see that there's a line through it. There's no data for that information. You can go ahead and skip it. And also, you don't have to stop with just what ChatGPT is asking. In fact, you can go ahead and add more in. I'm going to add impressions and impression click-through rate. Whatever it is that you might be curious about, go ahead and include it into the data. But we have to get that data into ChatGPT, and this is how you do it. Up here in the corner, you can see export current view. You can bring it out as a comma-separated value to put into Excel, but in this case, I recommend that you use Google Sheets. It'll open up in a new tab, and then you just hit Control or Command A to select all, Control or Command C to copy it. You could drop it into ChatGPT exactly as it is, but I have found that it is better to add one intermediary step. This is table to markdown.com. It will convert the spreadsheet information to Markdown. ChatGPT understands Markdown very well and can convert tables to Markdown as well. I found that I got better answers when I took this intermediary step. I'm going to throw it in here, hit submit, and then hit copy. Thank you so much to the person who made table to Markdown, whoever you are. I'm going to paste that data right here into the window. Important part, very important right here, don't hit enter because there is a step 2. At this point, just hit your shift button and then hit the enter key to give you 2 empty lines here between the data and step 2. The prompt begins with step 2 and tells ChatGPT what to do with the data. I first instruct it to print out the question again, and this is to keep it top of mind for you and also for ChatGPT. I also ask it to print out the YouTube channel information again, so you can see it all together in one response. What the insights are directly compared to your question and what your channel goals are. I ask it to offer insights and observations regarding the question. Fun fact about the Wolfram plugin, you can color the charts in a variety of different ways. And that brings me to this part of the prompt. These color gradients are all from this reference site on the wolfram.com site. Wolfram has an entire reference library for its Wolfram language, and these are all the different color gradients that you can use in your charts. I've tried many of them. Rainbow is very pretty. I like using candy colors. They're very soft and pretty, but still bright. So let me know in the comments if you try some of these, like coffee tones, for example, and how they look for your charts. As always, I will leave a link to this in the description, along with Table to Markdown and any other sites I mention. If you don't know what color you'd like to have your charts to be, or you have no preference, you can simply change this to create charts using a random color gradient and just change these words to that. Or you can keep it candy colors if you like it. If you change it to something random, ChatGPT will indeed choose something random from that variable array list that I have up there, and it will let you know which palette it used. I included this because if you like the color palette that it chose, you can remember what it is and use it again in future prompts. Charts are customizable in other ways on Wolfram. One of the reasons why I like using it for charts more than any other method I have found so far, including other plugins. And one of the things that you can do is change the fonts. I have Roboto font here, but I tried Tahoma and Arial, and they all work. So I imagine that any standard font that you find installed on most computers would work. I instructed to give you 2 different charts, which I really like. It helps visualize the data for me. The last thing that this prompt will do will offer you an opportunity to see your data visualized in any other way. It will give you some of the available chart types and plot types on Wolfram, of which there are many. Here is the charting and information visualization. You can do bar charts, pie charts, bubble charts, rectangle charts, sector charts, paired bar charts. There are all kinds of different things here, but the fun thing are the fact that you can get these 3D charts right here. I haven't tried these. I'm imagining they look pretty cool. So if you try them using this prompt, let me know and show me maybe in the comments. Give me a link to an image that I can take a look at. But let me know how they work out. They look really cool. I'm going to take step 2 and I'm going to drop it right into ChatGPT's window. Let's hit enter. Oh, and here's another cool thing that Wolfram Alpha can do. Wolfram, I need a 3D shape, 17 random points in 3D, and create a shape from those points. Wolfram, please show me a cat curve, a Lara Croft curve, and then show me the downward dog yoga pose as a schematic. I love it when a prompt comes together.
There's a plan in everything, kid. And I love it when a plan comes together.
Here it is with the refined question at the top to keep that top of mind for you, nicely bolded. And here is ChatGPT reminding me about my channel, but since I already know that, but it is helpful to have that together with the data here that ChatGPT can work with right here. Mobile phones have the highest impressions click-through rate and number of views, but the average percentage viewed is fairly low on mobile devices. Now, before I started running this prompt, if I saw such a low average view duration, I might feel really despondent and, like I said, give up. But I know that how people use mobile phones in life is in short spurts, waiting in the line or waiting at the doctor's office or something like that. And when people use television or tablets, they tend to be at home. They have more time to watch. They're settled in for a viewing session, and the numbers reflect that. And I know that fewer people are accessing content with those devices across YouTube, but the people who do are more likely to watch the video because perhaps you're watching the television over dinner or you're settled in for a viewing session on the tablet. The computer, which not many people use to watch YouTube anymore, does have a very low click-through rate. But when people do watch, they tend to watch all the way through, and it has the highest view time. In this prompt, I instructed ChatGPT to include the numbers that it was referencing so that you could check them, this number, for example, with this number here. So you can make sure that ChatGPT isn't hallucinating. Now it's going to give you some tips on what you can do. And you might think that these tips might be kind of common sense, but the point of the prompt is to get you started. Then you can start asking specific questions and drilling down into the data to get deeper insights. Now here's the fun part. I love looking at the visualizations now that I have more understanding. And the visualizations are not deep. They're very simple. They give you just the impressions and the different colors. And you can see here that ChatGPT is telling me it's used the candy colors color gradient as I asked it to. And here it is, views by device type. And finally, ChatGPT is asking me if I'd like to see the data visualized in any other way. And it also helps you learn what data is best for what purpose. A line plot is best for showing trends over time. A histogram is best for showing distribution of a single variable, and so on. I promise to show you how to find out more about why people may be leaving your videos if you're not getting a very high average view duration. Head back to your analytics dashboard, and for this, you're going to need to scroll down and you'll see your top content in this period. This channel only has 3 videos, but my notable plugin has just a 17% average view duration. This is very low. Let's find out why. Click here. Scroll down to Key Moments for Audience Retention. Click See More, and you'll see this graph along here. You could click here in the graph and see the areas here in the video. If you clicked here, it would show you that point in the video here. You can also see how your video compares to other videos here. And to my surprise, I can see that I'm actually above average at certain points in the video. So I'm not sure what that means, but let's find out by asking ChatGPT. Again, we're going to go up here, click on Export Current View, and click Google Sheets. You'll get this sheet here. Click Control A or Command A and Control C or Command C to copy it. Head over again to Table to Markdown, copy it in, hit Submit, and then hit Copy. OpenAI announced recently that they had a new model that gives you a longer context window. So you can now do all of this right in the playground. You'll be able to go over here to Mode, click on Chat, click on GPT 3.5 16K, and now you'll be able to toss all of this information in here and have ChatGPT analyze it. First, let's drop in our spreadsheet data. Then on the video page itself, here under the 3 buttons here, click Show Transcript, and this transcript box will pop up. Make sure you have toggle timestamps turned on and simply grab all of this and select it. Then ask this question or something like it. The video above has a very low average view duration. Using the timestamps in the transcript and the data provided, please tell me what I was speaking about at the approximate times the retention drops throughout the video. And based on the data, GPT 3.5 Turbo 16K can tell me exactly when people were leaving the video and what I was saying at those times. I can continue the conversation by asking it if there were larger drops of retention and what I was saying at those points. This is very helpful. Oh, and Wolfram Alpha is also very helpful and does a few more cool things that you may not have known about. Wolfram, what's an interesting fact about 88 miles per hour? An interesting fact about 88 miles per hour is that it is the speed at which Marty McFly needed to drive the DeLorean DMC-12 in order to time travel in the Back to the Future movie series. Wolfram, when will hell freeze over? When the facility staff forget to pay their geothermal heat bill for an extended period of time. And if you're really curious, how about using the Notable plugin and asking ChatGPT to write you a Python script that visually answers when hell will freeze over? I do a deep dive into the Notable plugin in the video that's on screen right now.